What is up, guys? This is McCloud fan here, and I'm here with
Jack Ball yet again.
And today we're back for the third episode of the podcast. So, if you don't know what the podcast is, it's pretty much where we go on and talk about a whole ton of books. So, Jack has a really interesting stack. I have a really interesting stack. So, why should I drag on this intro? Let's get started. Jack, would you like to start on first?
Yep. First up, we have yet another oldie but goodie, a feature I'll like to introduce in later episodes, pretty much. Spinning out of Crisis on Infinite Earths by the same creative team. Remember, Crisis actually happened today, not today, but this year, 3 decades ago. The history of the DC Universe. There's Part 1 and Part 2. The artwork is amazing. These books actually detail the entire history of the DC Universe. That resulted from the Crisis and all. The first part goes all the way to the Golden Age, 1930s, 1940s, dealing with the emergence of the Society of America and such heroes as the Sandman, Dr. Midnight, and so forth. Plus the Squadron. Plus the I can't remember exactly what their name is. Let me take a look.
Checking the names.
Oh yeah, the All-Star Squadron. Yeah, I knew I had it on the tip of my tongue, just didn't know about it. Anyway, second part also details the Silver Age of Heroes, and this is when we get all the major big leaguers. The major big leagues. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash, Martian Manhunter, and so forth as they form the original Justice League America, and actually goes all the way to circa 1986. On all types of heroes, even forgotten ones such as Blue Devil, Vigilante, and so forth. It actually details the Crisis too, and the heroes that were lost besides the Flash. And so, Flash. To the best of my knowledge, one Starman was the victim too, but who cares? Frankly, there have been so many people with the name Starman throughout the centuries. I do say centuries because eventually there's one in the 30th century, the Legion of Superheroes, but we'll get on that in our day or somewhat. Who cares, frankly. Our next book is yet a character I do care about. Most of you don't probably know about him, but he appeared in many books, and he recently has a new series with Image and all after almost 2 decades in the dust, having been in the dust anyway.
He's back?
Yes.
Yes!
Not being, not the character himself, but he's in spirit. He's alive. In spirit, he's alive. He still exists in the mantle. The original Shadowhawk.
In the mantle?
Yeah. Yes. Pretty much. The thing is, the original character here. I can't remember his name. Frankly, let me take a look. I'm sorry. I'm bad with these. I'm bad sometimes. This.
Checking the book.
Oh.
What is what you're looking for?
Yeah, it's pretty far. Sorry, pretty far. And
I saw arson in there.
yes.
I remember when I read that and saw him.
Yes, you know it.
So what are you looking for exactly?
Pretty much. Yeah, the name of it, the name of it right here, pretty much. Mr. Paul Johnstone, former DA of New York, of the New York section of section Soho, actually became Shadowhawk after he was affected with HIV. He actually grew with AIDS. Which eventually progressed to AIDS. I know, this is pretty crazy. A superhero with AIDS, how does this even happen? Well, you have to remember, back then, we had still the AIDS epidemic going on, even though we had the blood supply still all out of the way and everything else. We still had problems. Treatments were exactly created at the best. The whole mixture of drugs we use now to treat AIDS is not. They exist, frankly. But pretty much, eventually, he does die. He does die, but not before taking out a lot of enemies and eventually cleaning up the streets. Eventually, his mantle passes on to the host of characters until it reaches teenager Eddie colons about 2012. By this time, his spirit. By this time, he's communicating with Eddie via the mantle of Shadowhawk because his spirit. Because even though he died, his spirit still exists on Earth. It still demands vengeance beyond the grave. The grave. All together, this is a good book, and the character has made a comeback several times, especially in Robert Kirkman's favorite series. In Robert Kirkman's series, Invincible. Note that was Kirkman's first major hit before The Walking Dead for you comic book fans, or for whoever knows about his work, yada yada, blah blah blah. Who cares, frankly? I'm wasting time. I'm babbling away. So let's get on with it. Yet another book that I would like to talk about from Image and the same production company and studio that brought you Shadowhawk, Shadowline, is this right here, Peter Panzerfast, which has now been said to be made into a TV deal. TV deal. Like there's been rumors of a TV deal on this book and all. Pretty much the whole premise is a tale of Peter Pan being set during the time of World War II in 1941, war-torn France. France and details the lost boys return to this story. A bunch of lost French orphans, and Peter is just an American boy stuck among the rubble of war-torn Europe. Eventually they do meet up with our host of characters, and the tale keeps on progressing. Let's see. I haven't heard much about the TV deal because who knows? It's been stuck in production, and maze of production. So who knows how long that's going to take, frankly. And remind me again, what else has been rumored to have a TV deal? I can't remember.
The Wicked and the Divine. Outcast was a TV deal, but they're finally making it. They finally got the trailer out. They're doing that, but the Wicked and Divine, infinitely better. It's a much better story from, in my opinion, an even better writer, but yet, to be honest, it was announced a couple months ago, and not like years ago, but still, there's no sign that it's official yet. And that's just kind of weird, because Comic-Con came and passed, so...
Yeah, well, there's one writer who does need to have some work adapted to our media, which is, I say, a movie, or at least a TV series. This is the book that should be made, or at least it's our book, Mage, Grendel. And this here is the premiere Grendel story, Devil by the Deed, with the original paperback from 1986, with foreword by, guess who? Alan Moore.
Yeah, one of the greatest writers ever.
Yep. This tale actually tells the whole story of the rise and downfall of the original man to carry the name Hunter Rose, who died, strangely enough, at the age of only 20 or 18 years old. 18 years old, because frankly, originally he was just a boy named Eddie, who was very talented in everything he did. Absolutely talented. He was smart, brilliant, a prodigy, Everything he I'm talking everything he touched turned to gold, or whatever. Whatever. Anyway, eventually his parents died, and he went to America. Long story short, his parents died. He went back to the States, where he was getting a large inheritance, and he decided he was so smart enough, might as well take over the whole underworld. So by the age of 18, he became Grendel. Pretty crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
18 years old, you're writing a supervillain. Supervillain, ever crying out loud, you've already graduated at age 16.
That's just...
And another controversial thing, too, is that his ward, Stacy Palumbo, a little girl, he actually adopted him at the same age. He actually adopted her at 18 years old. And yet he made most of his money off being, what else, but a famous novelist. His best books, My Little Chickadee, was how he won the trial to actually gain custody of her.
Wow, that is interesting. I never read any Grendel ever, but it looks very, very interesting. And in fact, I don't think I've ever read anything by Matt Wagner.
Yeah. Note, for those of you who don't know what Grendel is anyway, well, frankly, Grendel is actually a dragon based on Norse mythology because of the tale of Beowulf.
Wow.
It's true. That's how Matt Wagner got the name, and also there's a reference to Beowulf in the tale too, because frankly, if you see the name Grendel, they're gonna tell you it's from Beowulf or whatever. My last book, and by far the best, is Time to Go Off a Bang, is a classic, and this is the how-to of all books detailing the comic book form, the graphic novel, and its entire history before there were such things as graphic novels, even before there were such things as comic strips, stretching back all the way to 3000 BC and the Egyptians. Scott McCloud's famous book, Understanding Comics. This right here is a Paradox Press edition from 2000, still, which is managed by DC, of course. But still, it's a pretty good book. This whole thing is uncut. It's still the original edition. I read the whole thing. Very good. Scott McCloud actually details. It goes into very deep depth how you can master how the comic book art form is mastered. How the writing form is how writing can be so detailed and yet how words and pictures can interact with one another to actually create a very big masterpiece. In the story, I'm done.
Yeah, but Understanding Comics, before I get to my pile of books, I've not read Understanding Comics, but as I said last episode, I have read Zot. And Scott McCloud looks promising to me. I think if he keeps up this quality that he put up with Zot, I think he could be one of my favorites.
I don't know, I really don't know, frankly, if he's going to do another book. It's been years. His last book was Understanding Comics. This is pretty much...
No?
Not Understanding Comics, it was Making Comics.
No, he actually released a book earlier this year.
What was it?
The Sculptor.
The Sculptor? Oh! Yeah, this is what I think about... Yeah, you're right. I think he's still working on it, because, frankly, he has a whole family now, too, you know. 2 daughters, he's already married and he has 2 daughters.
Yeah. So, do you mind if I get onto my pile?
Yes, you may.
Alright, first one is just ridiculous. It's just, you think this would be just a bad book, but it works so well. It's just so fun, and that is The Unbeatable Squirrel-Girl. Now, I've not read past the first issue, but this first issue, glorious. I really loved it. The art style reminds me of like old-time Archie, but unlike old-time Archie, which was horrible. This is good. This is really good.
Hey, I love Archie a little bit. And guess what? Here's another thing too. Here's a funny thing too. Did you know that Archie actually met with the Punisher back in the 90s?
Yeah, and it was an insult. It was.
It was supposed to be a parody of comic book team-ups and all. But also, believe it or not, Archie's actually been killed too.
Yeah, and everybody keeps praising Archie, Afterlife with Archie, and honestly, I cannot get
that's not the thing. Is he's actually been shot and all, assassinated and everything.
Yeah.
Because of course Riverdale was given a gay character, and such a lot of people were stunned. Like some fans were stunned, but also the characters in the story most of the characters on Riverdale were stunned and everything else. But frankly, and of course, when that character was actually going to be assassinated, was actually going to be killed, was actually going to be shot. Archie actually ran to attack the. I can't remember
the boy, and then he got shot and he got killed.
Not the boy. Frankly, the shooter. It's not. The proper term is the shooter. Actually,
no, I didn't say boy. I said bullet.
He did. That was pretty much to stop before any guns were fired. Or shots were fired, and unfortunately, he got shot.
Yeah, but I just don't like Archie. I think it's so cheesy.
Well,
not the good type.
You have to remember, it goes back to the 40s.
Yeah, but that's not an excuse. That is...
You're right.
Yeah, but I just don't like Archie. In the new Archie series... Okay. Mark Waid, Fiona Staples, what are you doing on this book? You're doing so much better!
Mm-hmm. I'm not even sure Mark Waid's ever gonna hear us, but
nor Fiona Staples.
Please, don't worry. You have to remember, when you're on the internet, anything you say or do can be used against you.
Yeah, but I know, but I shouldn't be really ripping on Archie because I haven't read it in a long while, but I remembered it being bad.
Yes.
Really bad.
The original issues are the 40s are classics, are a little bit classics and all. and all pretty much because the original for story was actually set with Archie being in middle school, believe it or not. But this is like 1940 or 1941. Now, anyway, let's go on to the next book in your pile.
All right.
Characters I love. I've seen both movies, or at least part of the second film, which I say was really misunderstood. The second film was kind of good, but I could see why it was not given that very good score on Rotten Tomatoes and so forth. Still, Ghostbusters is by far one of the most lucrative franchises there is when it comes to comedy and the supernatural.
And I have not read the comics yet. I've seen both movies the whole way through. This actually takes place after a video game.
Yes.
And then the video game took place after the second movie. I have not played the video game because I am not a fan of video games. I'm just going to say that right now. So I just got info on it and what happened, and I'm just going to hop onto the comic because I love comics.
Yeah, anyway, I actually have played the game. The thing is, the game is set around 1994, 1992. A new, pretty much, you're now the new recruit for the Ghostbusters and all, and they're suffering a new tragedy. But then now they're suffering a new crisis. Somebody apparently a lot of supernatural activity is going on at the old museum, at the old New York Museum of Natural History. And unfortunately, it's unleashing a bunch of psychic and unruly phenomena, which will eventually. And of course, guess who returns? That stupid environmentalist. Remember?
Yeah. Wow.
But don't worry, he gets his just desserts in the end.
All right. Yeah, but this all starts with the rookie. No. What am I talking about? That's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have not read this yet. I kind of know the premise around it, but I don't really know what's like the whole premise. But still. Very excited to read this. But this next book. Oh my goodness, I didn't even grow up with this franchise. And I'm loving this book. If it keeps up this way, this could be my favorite ongoing comic.
Me, I grew up with the franchise, I will say, and frankly, I did kind of love it as a kid, but then grew out of it. Then of course, when I got on the comics, I actually returned to it because the original 1980s black and white issues and all.
Okay, that pretty much just spoiled it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mark Waid Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, when they first conceived it back in the 80s, they made it serious. They made a serious parody, not a funny parody of superheroes, frankly. And TMNT was a very mature book back in the 80s. It was gritty and dark. It was gritty and dark, pretty much. For crying out loud, Shredder was supposedly killed when he was hurled off the roof of a grenade during the Turtles' first fight with him.
Yeah, and pretty much, I've read the first 21 issues of this series, which is quite a bit, as well as the first annual. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, I've read the first issue too on my phone. I have a digital copy I got the digital copy for free, and all. And I read very good book, very cool, a very good book. I love the artwork. And I also love the new character, old Hob, because hey, he's a living, walking, talking, 5 foot tall cat.
Yeah, but if you want to get the full thing, read on.
Yes.
Read on. It gets so much better.
And the good news is on this book, Kevin Eastman, one of the original creators, is actually here to oversee Turtles' history in the making. Yeah, again.
Yeah, and it's a story that the creators and fans approve of, and I can now safely call myself a fan of Ninja Turtles just because of this comic alone.
Yes.
I don't think I'll ever find anything as good as this comic, but at least I still have like 25 issues of it left to read. It's amazing. Read it. Even if you're not a fan of Ninja Turtles and just a fan of comics, read it. It is amazing.
Definitely. Next up, we have the book that was it was turned into a movie, of course, and yet turned into a second film too. Might have been censored.
Nah, just say it. Kick-ass.
Kick-ass. I know, but hey, you don't want it.
It's not that bad of a word. word.
Still, you don't want to say any profanities to profanities of any kids, any little kids running around. The last thing we
Yeah, so let's just make this one quick. Mark Millar is a good writer. John Romita Jr. don't usually like his art style, but I think he's doing really good with this artwork.
Yes.
I have not read this book yet, but it looks very, very interesting. I have this whole saga. I have the other two in not trade-in singles. So yeah, Kick-Ass looks like a great book.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. Very good. I've seen the movie, or at least part of it. I don't know exactly, but yeah, I've seen the first few scenes and so forth. It looks like a very good film. Stays pretty true to the source material, and besides, it does pose the question. One point in our lives, we all wanted to be superheroes, but then eventually we all grew up. Some of us, however, didn't grow up, and as such, the idea is posed yet again and again and again, and of course, there has to be trust me, there will come a day when the costume vigilante will appear in the skyline.
Yeah, and this next book, the only reason why I picked it up is because I do like the artist, but the reason why is because of the writer. It's called The Wake
By Scott Snyder.
The Scott Snyder, the Batman guy, the
American Vampire guy.
And you also have Sean Murphy from Punk Rock Jesus fame.
Oh yes, Punk Rock Jesus. I have not read that series. I do want to read it badly.
Because it looks really good.
Besides, it's so cool. But pretty much, Jesus Christ is resurrected. Has been cloned, and of course takes a turn for the worse by going into punk rock. All right.
Yeah, and this book is about marine biologists trying to fight off against a secret being that is signaling from the depths of the ocean.
The depths of the ocean.
Depths. Whatever. I don't know what else to do there, but yeah, and it's not just one monster; it's multiple monsters, but
a whole army.
Pretty much, but there's one thing I'm kind of scared about this book, and that is people say the ending's not that good.
Well, you have to also, last I heard, The Wake is also a TV show now. I don't know exactly if this is true because, hey, I keep on seeing the words The Wake constantly in several TV show apps.
It looks more like it could be movie material.
Movie material? It's already a TV series. That's what I've been hearing, and that's what I've been seeing on the telly. Where else?
I don't know. I have not heard a single thing about this being a TV show, but hey, if it is and I like this book, I'll give it a try. But yeah, The Wake, I've not read this yet. In fact, all these books from now on I have not read, but yeah, I'm really excited to read this book. Scott Snyder's great, Sean Murphy's great. It just looks to be great.
And just remember, we're doing this podcast because we love comics, not because we want to diss people a bunch of careers. All right, look, just because we don't read some books doesn't mean that we don't give a crap. All right, we're kind of on a tight schedule sometimes. Sometimes we just want to get as many episodes done as possible to appeal to our audience, mainly you. So please be curious, be kind, and relax and rewind.
Alright, and my next book is, I have the first 3 volumes with me, but I'm only going to show off the first one, and that is the first volume of Huston and Finch's
Moon Knight.
Now, Moon Knight is one of my favorite characters ever.
Yes, I've read him in Ultimate Spider-Man. Very good character. I loved his character, but also, guess what?
What?
In the Ultimate Universe, Moon Knight actually has multiple personalities.
He does also have it in the Marvel.
Oh,
universe.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
My mistake. Okay, my mistake. All right. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I probably just trained names occasionally because he has all these Aliases and all.
Yeah, but yet again, have not read this, but I am looking forward to it. Moon Knight's one of my favorite characters. From the looks of it, this may be
oh, never mind. As you were saying,
it may be not as good as the Marvel Now Moon Knight, which has been phenomenal, but it looks like to be at least better than the Bendis run, which I didn't really like. But yeah, very excited to read this. This is almost a decade old, but what? I don't care. it looks to be amazing.
When I saw the very first episode of Comic Book Men on AMC, Junk. I watched this on iTunes.
Junk. Like, is that the name? Please tell me that's the name of the episode.
Yeah, that's the name of the episode.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty much the thing is, believe it or not, they actually had a bet at the shop. They had a bunch of extra material, and they actually had bets for the upcoming flea markets. Whoever could sell the most material, get the most cash out of each of their share would actually run the shop for the next 3 months. 3 months, pretty much. Next 3 months, they were the ones in charge, or at least they would get a break from work. I really don't know, frankly, but pretty much one of the items was they had plenty of copies of the first volume of Moon Knight. Like, I'm talking a whole stack this thick.
Really?
Yes, and they split it up and all, and eventually they got everything sold. They got everything sold at the.
Oh, I have to see that. I have to see that episode. Have not watched Comic Book Men yet. Isn't that the one with Kevin Smith?
Yes, Kevin Smith. I love his work. Frankly, I know. For those of you, he keeps on making all these crude references, crude jokes, crude profanities, and all. But hey, he's a comic book guy. All right, he was in the comics, but when comic book fandom was in its early days, then he got back into comics when their heyday, shortly after Dark Knight Returns was released, then along with Watchmen and so forth, and then finally they got in the movie biz. He made so many of these movies: Mallrats, Clerks 2, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Jay and Silent Bob Super Groovy cartoon movie, and so forth. And besides, Jay and Silent Bob are hilarious. Even though they're drug dealers, they're hilarious.
But anyway, these next 2 books my final 2 books are Sandman books, but sadly, they're the last 2 Sandman books before Overture, which from the looks of it will be the last Sandman book ever.
Hey, well, it had to end sometime soon.
Yeah, it has to end.
Every good story not only has to have a beginning, but an end, but you have to remember too, from each end there can also come a beginning.
Yeah.
Which means that we can always make our own assumptions about the series. We know fans by now know the end of the series because they read the end of the original Sandman series and all. They know, meaning they know who's in charge now, but they also have their own predictions. They also can formulate their own stories, their own predictions of what the future may hold.
Yeah, and first book I have is probably the Sandman I know the least about. All I know is that it has to do something with Japan and Dream. Yes. And that is The Dream Hunters. It has very good art from the looks of it, and of course it's a Sandman book written by Neil Gaiman.
What about
P. Craig Russell?
Yes. Is he a writer or an artist?
Artist.
Oh yeah, I keep on forgetting. Yeah, he's the artist. I keep on forgetting that.
Yeah, and I have not read it yet, but this is actually not the Sandman book I'm most excited about out of the stack. That title would have to go to
Death, Dream's sister, who is always the expectation. I love Death. I love Death in Sandman because she's not the Death you always think of. She's not the Death you always think about. She's upright. She's bright. She's sunny. She's funny. She's just your funny girl. She's a funny girl and all.
Look at this. I found this and stuff.
Next time on Hell's Kitchen. Yes, chef. Beep, 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 beep.
We just found this randomly. Yeah, but Death looks amazing. This is pretty much a collection of 2 short stories or short story arcs that Neil Gaiman did with the character, and it's supposed to be absolutely fantastic. So I can't wait to read this. This collects both of them. Included here is a miniseries, one of the best tales I know of Death. Death, The High Cost of Living. Yeah, and it also combines, I think, 3 of the original Sandman issues with her in it, and also her issue for Dream Hunters. Not Dream Hunters, Endless Nights.
Oh boy, yes.
Yeah, and Death just looks like a great book. But overall, I'm pretty much just going to read the 2 story arcs that have her in it, because that's the stuff I have not read.
The thing is, we also need... You know what we also need to read?
What?
Black Orchid. Orchid.
Oh, yes! I am looking for that book. I know it's at the library.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah! Or our library.
And the good... Yeah, the one thing I'm always begging. I'm begging to God, right on my knees. Dear Heavenly Lord, give me the strength, to finally get our library's location at Monsanto and all.
Yes! Yes! I'm so excited for our library. Like, legitimately. They're trying to build a library walking distance to where we live. I'm not going to say where we live due to privacy reasons, but
yes.
Yeah, oh my goodness. They're literally building a library near us, and they keep in their budget cutting the library, and it's just really.
Yes, please, just break ground already. At least, just get the whole ground even and flat, and all. Get the parking lot set up. Then you can start building everything. Come on, people. Just pour money in a little bit. Then fine.
It doesn't have to be that large of a library. It only has to be large as the other library we go to.
Yes, just go a bit.
Which isn't that big.
Or you could at least just get the money you have, then do it bit by bit, inch by inch, until finally, you get to lay the final brick on the building.
Yeah, but is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. For superhero movie, or comic book films coming out right now. The Fantastic Four is coming out August 7th or so. I can't remember exactly the exact date, but it looks pretty cool. And I am excited for the new cast. They are making some radical changes. The Human Torch is now African American. I have no problem with that. I'm okay. But in fact, I encourage it. The team has been around for over 50 years. Let's see some new changes, and also this will changes, and the costumes of the Sign and the Fang and Ben Grimm has never looked better thanks to CGI.
Yeah, and I can't wait for Fantastic Four. I'm not even the biggest Fantastic Four fan. I've never disliked them, but I never truly liked them. But yes, but I can say this right now. This movie looks great, or at least better than the other Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah, believe it or not, you know who's been Fantastic Four members several times?
Huh?
There have been several Fantastic Four members, too.
Yeah. Like
She-Hulk is a Fantastic Four member. Spider-Man was considered several times throughout the 80s and so forth. There were two things. I can't remember why exactly. I can't remember. Alice Masters, Ben Grimm's girlfriend, I think, became a thing like Creature accidentally, and the Thing, he actually grew more rocky, he became more spiky and all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, is there anything else?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Before we go, if you have any other ideas for videos or anything, for a video you'd like us to do, or for a discussion you'd like us to, like for me and Graham, for me and Mega Man Chief and a half, just put it down in the comments below, and we'll put it down in the comments below. Comments below. If you're a fan, if you've seen the first 2 episodes and you do want to see more, then subscribe. I don't know what else to say.
So, I think I'll just end it here. It's been quite a long episode from what I can tell. So, let's just end it. This has been our 3rd episode of the podcast. So I'm not going to drag on this ending anymore. I'm Mega Man Chief Fan, a.k.a. Graham.
And I'm Jackman, a.k.a. Jack or Jackson, I don't know.
And we'll see you later, guys.
Goodbye.